Welcome. We're on the red couch with Christine Jennings, CEO of Westcoast Black Theatre Troupe. Christine has a varied background involving finance, politics, and community service. Her 40-year career in banking culminated in a 14-year stint as the founder, president, CEO, and chairperson of the board for the highly successful Sarasota Bank. Upon retiring from banking, Christine became a candidate for the U.S. Congress. Her first campaign in 2006 ended with 18,000 lost votes, or an undercount, in which ballots were cast with no candidate selected. After recounts and a court case, Christine's opponent was announced as victorious, which many considered unjust. In 2008, she lost her second congressional rematch against Buchanan again. The extraordinary range of skill and talent that Christine had gained over her years in powerful positions propelled her into accepting the challenge of turning around the nearly bankrupt Westcoast Black Theatre Troupe. Under her business direction, the troupe is now flourishing, has a venue to call home, and is enjoying great success. Christine, I am so thrilled to have you on the red couch.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here.
Now, you started in banking. You started as a teller, and then you worked your way up to owning a bank.
Not owning. So many people thought I truly owned it all. We started a bank. We had stockholders and things, and I was a stockholder, but I did not truly own the bank.
Okay.
Wish I had.
Now, that's a very male-dominated business. What was that like to be one of the only females in such a male-dominated world?
Well, banking in general has always been male-dominated, still is today in the upper positions. But one of the things about banking is all the men, and you can say this, almost all the men are truly gentlemen. So obviously, the higher up you go in any field, the tougher it gets, the smaller it gets to the top. But my board of directors, there was only one other woman. So men have been very helpful to me in my career, as well as women, certainly. But they've played a major role in my career.
Was it hard, though, to not be seen as too aggressive or too assertive, or was that ever part of your experience?
That was difficult, and it still is today for women, because
Sure.
you're either, the hair is the biggest thing. The hair, that's always the biggest thing. But besides that, it's, yeah, everyone is looking at you, and they're studying, are you too soft? Do you look too soft? Are you too aggressive? Are you too hard? Are you too demanding? So women do have to walk a very fine line,
Right.
I think, in their higher positions.
Right. What do you think made you so successful in the world of banking?
I think the one word, attitude. I think it's just the most underrated word in life. I think if you have a good attitude about your boss, the company that you work for, the people you work with, the people you serve, so everything to me in life comes down to that one word, attitude, and then the A, B's, and C's fall under that.
That's wonderful. So after you left banking, you decided to run for public office. What motivated you to do that?
Well, when I was a very young girl, I grew up with a family that was somewhat political. And by that I mean paying attention to politics and talking about them a lot at the kitchen table. And my mother was very, very involved with the Women's Democratic Club. She was president of it. But it was always a sense of justice and a sense of helping people. And that's what politics meant to me.
Right.
So for me, it was just the next thing, the next way to serve after serving people in the banking field.
That is wonderful. Now, that whole voting issue, what was that like? I mean, how did you feel sitting in front of the TV, watching your opponent be sworn in at the moment?
You know, there are some emotions that you simply can't describe. I mean, there's enough words, but it just wouldn't do the job properly. Sometimes the pain can be so deep and so severe that you just can't describe it, because, you know, when you put yourself out for public office, you really give up your life. I mean, anyone that does, regardless of the party, you give up your life.
Yeah.
You have to live, eat, breathe, and sleep it. and then the disappointment of not being able to do the job that you wanted to do.
Right.
So a lot of mixed emotions, especially with what happened in my circumstance. But again, in life, we were not, everything's not a bed of roses.
Right.
There are some thorns in life, and I think it's important how we look at those thorns, how we accept them, and how we move on.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would have sat in front of the TV and said, that should have been me.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. There's no question I did. That should have been me, and I think it should have.
Right.
But still, you have to move on. I mean, who wants to? When you think in life of who you want to be around on a daily basis, you certainly don't want to be around someone that's feeling sorry for themselves or whining or depressed all the time. You can get by with so much of that, but the truth is, who wants to be around you very long? So you have to move on. And then, I have this personal philosophy that maybe we can talk about later.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you really do. You have a wonderful attitude. I've just enjoyed being around you. You have a very wonderful way about you. And a lot of people would have, after 5 grueling years and kind of broken dreams, a lot of people would have given up, but you did not. You marched forward and took on the Westcoast Black Theatre Troupe. And how did that even come about?
Well, it was right after the 2008 election.
Right.
Howard Millman called me one day and wanted to see if I would have a cup of coffee with he and Nate Jacobs. So we met, and they explained to me that the Westcoast Black Theatre Troupe was most likely going to have to shut their doors, and they were in trouble financially.
Yeah.
And Howard and Nate asked me if I would consider coming on and helping them. And so I took about a week, and I said that I would let them know in a week. I called them back and said that I would do it. And so they approached me, and then I asked my friend Michael Shelton to help me. And we spent 6 months. We had a 6-month contract. We spent 6 months trying to get everything reorganized, getting them ready to put on shows. And we got that accomplished. And then Michael went on to do other things, and I've been with the troupe ever since.
So you have a very important role. You are the CEO, and you run like the business side. So Nate runs the artistic side, right? And you have become this incredible team.
We are.
Even though you're very different.
Yeah. We're very, very different. I have no artistic ability whatsoever, none.
You don't perform?
No, I can't sing a note. I truly was asked my band teacher when I was in junior high was giving me private lessons and finally said, let's just stop. He really did. But Nate has no business ability either.
Right.
So it's a great combination.
Perfect.
We totally respect each other. We have a great working relationship. And so it's been a joy.
So in banking, you were the minority in the sense that you were one of the only women at that level. And in the Westcoast Black Theatre Troupe, you are one of the only white people.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So again, in the minority.
Yeah.
And I know you've always had very strong feelings about diversity. And has that changed, or have you noticed that your feelings are stronger about diversity?
I would say my feelings are stronger because anytime you put yourself into something and you're immersed in it, obviously you get more emotional and more caring about it.
Right.
And so the diversity, and I think this country is becoming as evident from the election that just happened.
Yeah.
I think this country is becoming more aware of the need and the desire for more diversity among us all.